We are back at the Form Lab in Portland, where it's all about taking the movements that you learn here and incorporating them into your daily lives. Normally we're standing up. Today we are on the floor because we're talking about push-ups today.
We're talking about push-ups today. It's one of the most common seen at-home movements. Anyone that thinks about exercise knows a push-up. Most people have tried them. Most people struggle with them. They're not an easy movement even for an avid gym goer.
That's good to hear.
So today, push-ups are good and we want to be doing them at home. If we're gonna be working out at home, definitely incorporating push-ups, gaining that push-away strength. But today we're gonna go over a few big points to focus on while you're doing your push-ups because there's some common mistakes in them.
Okay.
So, the first common mistake that we see is hand placement. A lot of people start out with their push-ups a little bit too far up overhead with their hands. So when you're setting up for your push-up, ideally you want those hands kind of stacked underneath your shoulders. So what I like to do with people is I like to have them lay flat first and then walk their hands back until they're in line with their chest, because instantly that's going to set us up for the first part of successful push-up. From there, another common mistake is elbows. People's elbows like to flail out to the side.
Chicken wings.
People get a little chicken wingy with their push-ups. So if they're doing a push-up and the elbows are coming out to the side, that's gonna put a lot of stress into the shoulder and you're not gonna feel much in the pec muscle. So we're trying to take that stress out of the shoulder. So a big thing for that is to turn those elbows in, almost act like you're spinning the floor. Clockwise and counterclockwise with that left hand, so you can really pull those elbows in. A proper elbow track is about 45-degree angle from the torso, not out wide at 90. So that's a very common mistake. After you're set up in the right spot, just making sure you're twisting that floor and pulling those elbows in a little bit tighter to the body. That's gonna allow you to really emphasize the pec muscle as you push the floor away. Another common mistake is just that ability to retract. We talked last time you were in here about retracting, getting those shoulder blades to come back, getting that scapula to retract. It's very common in here that people fight the retraction out back and they kind of put up that blockage. So here, making sure that you're allowing the back to retract. So at the bottom of my push-up, I feel like I'm really kind of squeezing my back out there, and that gives me that ability to go through my full range of motion. Obviously, we'd like to progress up to push-ups on the toes, doing push-ups normally right here on the floor, even with feet elevated at times, but that's not going to be possible for everyone. So there's always that kind of option to take it back a few notches. So if you struggle with push-ups on the knees on the floor, elevate your angle a little bit. So instead of being at this angle, if you bring it up slightly, or even doing push-ups against a wall, like that's a great place to start, where it's going to be a lot less range of motion, a lot less angle to have to push the body weight from. So I recommend for people at home that struggle with push-ups on the floor, to start a little bit higher. Start doing them against the wall, start against your kitchen table. For example, the barbell here, if you're struggling with your push-up on the floor, I've got this set at about a kitchen table height. Right. So from here, I start a lot of my clients here where I'm setting them up just like I was on the floor, where those hands are kind of stacked under the chest. From there, the elbows are coming back at 45 degrees. I'm allowing that back to retract out back, and then pushing away from this angle is much easier than pushing away from the floor. So always starting a little bit higher up if you struggle with this movement is a great option. And then as you get stronger and as your body gets more familiar through working through that kind of range of motion and that track that your arms are on, then you can start to progress down, take it from the kitchen counter to an ottoman or a lower table, something like that. Yeah. And then eventually you're gonna build up the strength, build up that familiarity, and be able to do your push-ups right from the floor.
Love it. You gotta start somewhere.
You do have to start somewhere, and these are important ones to be incorporating at home.
Absolutely. And if you're interested in these tips, you want to see them for yourself, just head to the 207 section of our website. Thanks so much for doing this with us.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back.